In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast, it is Rookie Watch Volume 9. Me and James are going to share our thoughts on some of the top rookie performances from the weekend. Stay tuned to hear our thoughts about Jared McCain, who continues to sizzle, and Dalton Knecht with a huge game against the New Orleans Pelicans. And the question is, should Knecht remain in the starting lineup? Stay tuned. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe, along with my co-host, who happens to be my brother. And today's episode, I forgot to say his name, my brother, James Barlowe. And today's episode is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And I also wanted to let you know about the new Locked On newsletter. Your favorite podcast from Locked On has a newsletter, and it will be delivered right to your inbox. So check it out at lockedondaily.com. That is lockedondaily.com to get the all-new Locked On newsletter delivered right to your inbox, covering your favorite team. So whatever team you support, Lakers, Mavs, Bulls, Grizzlies, whoever, check it out, lockedondaily.com. And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop an episode. All right, let's get right into it. What up, James? Hope you had a good weekend. It was a lot of basketball on. What were your overall thoughts from like some of the games over the weekend, whether it's college or NBA? Like, what is the performance that stood out to you the most?
Oh, De'Aaron Fox. That's easy. I mean, I was a big Fox guy, 60-point game, followed it up with a 49-point game. I mean, dude is cold at basketball. I've been a fan for a minute. I think he's highly slept on, but there's a lot of talent in the NBA, so it's hard to get to everybody. But, I mean, come on, man, 109 points in 2 games, and, he gets that was against the Timberwolves. He had 60. Defensive Player of the Year, premier wing defenders, and Anthony Edwards and McDaniels, and they couldn't check him. I mean, it's easily Fox.
Yeah, 60 points is crazy. All right, let's talk about the rookies. Let's start with Jared McCain, who was number 1 on your rookie power rankings. And, the crazy thing about when you do these rookie power rankings, especially early in the season, you can leave someone off, and then they can jump into the top 5 within a few days later. And so I had some people commenting about the rankings, and I'm like, these just came out a couple days ago. We're still early. We're doing the rankings or the power rankings, but a lot can change. 2 good games and you can rise. 2 bad games and you can fall. But Jared McCain, who was at the number 1 spot, continues to impress for the Sixers. What were your thoughts on McCain's performance against Orlando?
Yeah, man, he had 29, and he had 29 while others struggled. Others being Paul George, Joel Embiid. Those guys struggled against Orlando, but he seemed to get what he wanted. He got his. He has enough playmaking to offset his scoring ability, and Jared McCain is really good. And I want to see eventually, when everybody gets healthy, do you start him and Maxey, or can him and Maxey play together as 2 6'3" guards out there? So do you sit here and say we start Maxey, McCain, Paul George, Martin Twin, and Embiid? Like, how is that going to work? Because McCain is, again, it's early, it's only November, but he's almost undeniable. We know he can shoot the ball. And we know he can score. He's not just a shooter. He can score. So imagine you have Embiid out there with 3.5 guys that create their own shot and knock down open shots and create offense. Now, defensively, if you run into Boston, it could get strange because those guys are small. But it'll be interesting to see what Nick Nurse does.
Yeah, in November, McCain is averaging 19.8 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. He's shooting 48% from the floor and 43% from deep on 7 attempts per game. Now, I liked McCain. I thought he was in a good fit but I didn't expect him to take off the way he's taken off. And clearly, Nick Nurse didn't either, because he only played him like 8 minutes total in the first couple of games.
He will never not play. He will never play 8 minutes ever again. Because Nick Nurse, when he loves you, he loves you.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Lowry may find out how much Nick Nurse loves him, because you have to factor in that his minutes are going to be the ones that are going to just decrease with McCain getting more minutes. I think that they're going to close with Maxey and McCain. But do you think they're similar in any sense?
Well, I mean, Maxey is a top-end athlete with amazing speed. I talked about De'Aaron Fox. He might be the only person in the league that can, catch Fox in a foot race with the basketball in his hands. But are they similar in a sense? Yes, because they're not really pass first point guards, but they do have enough playmaking. And with Joel Embiid, I mean, you just need to be able to, make a pocket pass here and there. But with the addition of Paul George can pass. So you don't necessarily – I don't think you need a pass first point guard in that lineup. I think their issues are going to be defensively. If you can play those two small guys together, again, it's going to be matchup based. I don't think there would be an issue playing against, like a Cleveland. But again, if you run into Boston at some point, those guys are all 6'4" and up, and they move the ball well, and they're a tough matchup because they all shoot the ball well. But I think, the Sixers just need to weather this storm, even though the storm feels like it's always there because those guys are always hurt, and they brought in another injury-prone guy. But yeah, McCain and Maxey could work together, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But really quick, McCain had 2 plays, Ralph, where he got into the paint, he kicked to a shooter, and he immediately relocated and spotted up for a 3. One that he made on the wing, one he missed in the corner. That's some like Steph Curry stuff, and that's something that we don't normally see from guards or young guards. Like, to unlock that Steph Curry move is almost a cheat code, and he can shoot. And again, you chase him off the line, he has just enough to get to the paint off 2 feet or make a play.
I know it's early. We still have a lot of season to go. They haven't played at full strength yet. But do you think, like, in a playoff series, once, things kind of get tight, do you think they could have the same issue that the Suns had last year, where they didn't have, like, a natural table setter?
No, I don't think that would be an issue, because the Suns thing, to me, they have 3 of the same kind of guy at 3 different heights. So you have 6'4" Bill, 6'5" Booker, 7-foot Durant, which is pick and roll ball handler, and I can kind of pass. But I don't think that the Sixers are similar in the sense that we know everything is going through Embiid. But also, I feel like Paul George should be seasoned enough to know that, okay, hey, we got to get Embiid these shots here. Young guys, you guys do what you need to do, but like at a certain point, we need to play through Embiid. But also, Embiid has had his hiccups in the playoffs where, he has deferred. So I think it could work. You have to swing for the fences if you're Philly, because Embiid has a shelf life as far as how long he can go with the injury. So I think it could work. It's going to be matchup based, though.
Yeah, I think they have a interesting dilemma in the sense that they have 2 combo guards, in the sense that you have to close the lineup with them. You may not have to start both of them, but I think you have to close with both of them on the floor.
Well, real quick, who is the table setter for the Celtics? I don't think they have one, because is Drew a pure point guard? No. Is White a pure point guard? No. Tatum and Brown just learned how to pass recently. So it's like their scheme is so strong because they play 5 out. Everybody can shoot. The reads that they have to make are easy reads. Basically, you beat your man off the dribble, you pass, you swing, open shot. But again, they still play through those 2 wings. But like, I don't feel like they have a pure point guard table setter on that roster, and they win.
That's fair. And do you think if Boston is, or if the Sixers are successful with a deep playoff run, do you think we may start seeing more of these lineups that don't have a true table setter? Because we saw the opposite with Phoenix, where they just didn't have one. And then you see they made some additions this year, as far as I get the Jones brothers mixed up, but they have that. And when they were healthy, when Durant was playing, Phoenix looked incredible. So they needed that. Boston doesn't have your quote unquote pure point guard, but I wonder how Philly fares if they are somewhere in the middle.
Well, let's look at this. Last 4 champions, Boston doesn't have a pure point guard. The Nuggets don't have a pure point guard. I mean, they got Jokic. That's
two of those guys. Two of those teams had the same point guard in the last few championships with Drew Holiday.
Right. Okay. So again, Drew Holiday twice. He definitely wasn't a pure point guard on that team because he was shooting the ball 22 times a game. And even then, you would say, some people would say, man, some of his decision making was kind of iffy, but he made it up with unbelievable defense. And then you got people who think that Golden State doesn't have a pure point guard because Steph is out there trying to get buckets. Like, you need high IQ players. So is that what Philly has right now? We have to wait and see.
That's valid. All right, when we return, we're going to talk about Dalton Knecht, who had a monster game against the New Orleans Pelicans, and it led to a lot of people on social media asking the same question. How did he fall to the Lakers? Stay tuned to hear our thoughts on Dalton Knecht. But before we get into the second segment, let's talk about FanDuel. FanDuel is the #1 sports book. And right now, if you're a new customer, you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and it is all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. And never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, which is the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, second segment, Dalton Knecht. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, was in the starting lineup. A lot of people were asking, how did he fall to the Lakers? And the only thing you can say is, man, maybe teams just felt like he was old because he was 23 and he fell. But what were your thoughts about his performance? And do you think he should remain in the starting lineup?
Well, real quick, Ralph, it wasn't just that performance. We're talking about a 3-game stretch for Dalton Knecht where he's averaging 20 points and 4 rebounds, and he's shooting 63% from 3. And he, as a starter, where you don't have to run, I mean, you can run action for him, where he does, but him as a starter with LeBron out there, and you got point Austin Reeves, it looks like they have unlocked something. I personally, again, I get he's old, and old dudes that are lottery picks, the results are kind of mixed. I mean, you got Cam Johnson at work, you got Chris Duarte, who we think plays for the Chicago Bulls right now, so it's kind of like a mixed bag.
Davion Mitchell,
we don't know the outcome with Devin Carter, man, I'm drawing blanks on Devin Carter, so it's like a mixed bag with older players drafted in the lottery the last 5-6 years. I personally, Ralph, again, I like Knecht. I'm buying him as a shooter. I would have taken him if I was Detroit at 5. Yes, it would have been a reach, but we talked about it off the air. Dalton Knecht at 5, I think, is cheaper than Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, what they're giving you together. Now, again, Malik Beasley is playing well, and he's shooting the ball well because, he's not in L.A., and he always shoots the ball well when he's not in L.A., but I feel like Knecht would have he would have been good in Detroit. Yes, he's older, and there's no disrespect to Ron, but I think he would have worked out in Detroit at 5. And if there were ever a draft where you could be like, maybe we go with an old guy, it was this draft. But he's a Laker. Should he start going forward? I think so. I think Bron's days of putting the foot on the gas, he has to be selective because me and him are the same age. We're getting old. Can't keep chasing these youngsters around. So with Knecht out there, you're unlocking Bron as a playmaker. I mean, he's already a great playmaker, but Bron can be selective. He can save it for the fourth quarter because we have a guy who can get hot and score 20, and he can score off movement threes, catch and shoot threes. He's active in transition. He can put the ball on the ground and get to the basket because you have to respect the jumper. So I think he probably should start going forward. Go ahead and move Rui and D'Angelo Russell off the bench. Now you have scoring off the bench. I'm giving the Lakers like game. I don't like the Lakers, man. What's wrong with you, man?
Well, the thing about Bron is he's averaging 23, 8, and 9 and shooting 51% from the floor. Bron is going to be around for a long time. He's shooting 43% from three.
Around as long as he wants to be around. Yo, Bron at 48 could be like Boris Diaw.
I know. Like, it's like people, I was talking to somebody and they were talking about Austin Reeves' contract. And they were saying how he's got a good deal. And I had mentioned that Lakers got him on a very bargain deal. But I think that summer his options were Detroit and San Antonio. And he chose, I'm going to take the less money. I'm going to play, stay in LA, which you get money if you're performing well with Bron. You can make it up for it, off the court, or you can hit him over the head for your next deal. So that was my conversation. And the person was like, oh, yeah, the Lakers should have the money to pay him because Bron's money should be off the books by then. I'm like, Bron is going to play until he decides he doesn't want to play anymore. I'm like, I already have Bron penciled in for the 2028 Olympics. So
for sure. In LA?
In LA?
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even seen the 15, 7, and 6 version of LeBron.
No, we haven't seen that, Magic Johnson's second act, right. LeBron, where he was like basically just kind of facilitating everything from the post. I mean, I think LeBron can play 5 more years.
Easy.
And we've been talking about this. Think about it. 5 years ago, we were saying, I think LeBron can probably play until he's like 37. Anyway, let's get back to Knecht. The starting lineup, I think that it's going to be hard to move him off the bench, move him back to the bench. Basically, just, you mentioned the numbers over his last few games. But do you think JJ will do it?
Yes, JJ isn't the conventional coach. I mean, he's not the conventional coach. Like, he's not afraid to go against the grain. Like, what could he bench D'Angelo Russell already? Yeah. Why wouldn't he start Dalton Knecht? I mean, and look at who started the last couple games, because Rui's been hurt, and that's why Dalton Knecht did get the nod. But Cam Reddish, defender, what did we get from Cam Reddish on offense? Who knows?
Hey, you know what? Last time I looked at, and I have to pull it up real fast, and I'm adamantly not a Cam Reddish guy. The last time I looked, all right, it went down. He was shooting like 71% from the floor and 70% from three. Since then, he's down to 60% from the floor and 55% from three. Now, he's only getting 2.9 shots per game and averaging 4 points. But Cam Reddish, I wouldn't say it's like a big year for him in a sense as far as how he's performed, but he's done something since he's been in the starting lineup. They're winning.
I don't have an issue with him starting, and if he can be a league average 3-point shooter with his athleticism and defense, that's what they've been looking for, a 3-and-D wing for, it feels like, forever. So I have no issue with it. I mean, as long as we know what Cam Reddish is now. So
do we?
Yeah, we know what he's not.
Okay,
and that's fair. So, and it's no disrespect, because again, he's collected checks in the NBA, and he could potentially be the answer as a starting small forward for the team, because you need somebody. Because, I don't trust LeBron to guard threes, right? LeBron to help side defenses, and, if he's engaged, great. But, I like Reddish for them alongside with Knecht, because now you compare the offense with the defense.
All right, when we return, we're going to talk about Stephon Castle. I know James has a lot to say about Castle because he might be the leader of the Stephon Castle bandwagon. But before we get into that segment, let's talk about the sponsor for today, which is Game Time, my favorite app when it comes to purchasing tickets. And with Game Time, you can save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theaters, and more. I've actually been directing a lot of people to Game Time because people call me every day. Hey, man, I'm looking to go to a Mavs game. You think you got some tickets for the Lakers? Like, what? You want the tickets everybody wants. But I direct them to Game Time, and I tell them, on the Game Time app, you can get all-in pricing. All you have to do is toggle the feature on the app, and it will show you the total up front. I also let them know that you can get panoramic views from your seat in the app before you buy. And this is key. Game Time has the lowest price guarantee. And if you find something cheaper, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and get in the game today. All right, last segment, Stephon Castle. Castle had a strong performance against the Lakers, 22 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. He's played well in the starting lineup. So go ahead, share your thoughts on Stephon Castle.
Hooper, you were there at the Mavs game, Ralph. You got to see him front and center, live on location. Stephon Castle's a hooper. 3-level scorer. I said it, 3-level scorer. And he's shooting the ball with confidence.
3-level scorer?
Listen to me, Ralph. Listen to me.
Yeah, you can't just say that and then try to switch to the next subject.
I'm not changing to the next subject.
You got to dig
in
deep.
7 starts, he's shooting 39% from 3. We know he's getting to the rack.
Is that sustainable? It's encouraging. I don't want to
listen to me. Is it sustainable? I don't know. That's a very large sample of games. 7 games, and we're 12 games into the season?
It's not a very large sample.
14, we're halfway through the season. Is he at 49%?
We're not halfway through the season.
I mean, halfway into. He has started half of the games that the Spurs have played. Okay. I didn't say that.
We're not even a quarter into the season.
No. I can do some math. Listen to me. And this is what else I can count to. 40%. That's what he's almost shooting from 3. He's shooting the ball with confidence. He's shooting them from deep. He's shooting them off a pick and roll. That same Lakers game, they caught Dalton Knecht out there on that island. He hit him with the nasty hezzy pull up, pick and roll. Hey, they had to go over the screen because he was making them. He hit a foul line jumper. You see him attacking Anthony Davis on multiple occasions, right? 3 levels. 3-level score. Hooper, you got to keep starting him, man. I don't care who comes back. You got to keep starting him.
Vassell?
I mean, Vassell got paid, and that's cool, but you got to keep starting Castle.
Yeah, the numbers are definitely encouraging. As a starter, 45% from the floor. Like you said, 39% from 3 on 4.4 attempts per game, 76% from the foul line, 4 assists. He's averaging 13.7 points. Yeah, I agree. He has been a bright spot. He has lived up to some of the hype. I still don't see the Brandon Roy, Jimmy Butler comparisons.
How do you not see the Jimmy Butler comparison, for one?
I would say Jimmy Butler more than Brandon Roy.
That's fair.
But I do see the intangibles. And if he can figure out the shooting,
that's casting. Rob, he's putting the rock on the ground.
No,
he is trying to finish. Not just he's going at Anthony Davis.
I was at the game Saturday night.
I wish he would. You know what? I wish he would have took over that game because obviously Wemby didn't play. I wish he would have took over that game. I needed to see that from him. If he would have said that, man, I probably would have potted with my shirt off, man, because that was an opportunity to really stamp yourself. And I don't want to say he missed out on it, but I think that was definitely a game. They had guys out. Vassell was out. Obviously, Wemby didn't play. We know Sohan was still hurt. That's the game you'd be like, you know what, I'm about to go get 30. But maybe another opportunity will come. But I don't know, man. I don't see how you could see the film and not see all-star level talent in Stephon Castle. He's 20.
I don't want to say all-star yet.
I'm saying it.
You got it. Well, obviously things can change in the West, but I think it's still a ways away, but the signs are encouraging. And he is one of the top 5 picks that has played well, consistently with minutes. You can almost say the games that early in the year where he wasn't playing well, he was being held back, but he's made the most of his opportunities as a starter. The game is slowing down. He's getting more comfortable, and he's playing well. And so, what did you have him at on your rookie rankings? 6, I believe, 6 or 7.
I had him 6. So this how this could work. Kyle Kuzma's back doing Kyle Kuzma things. He took 28 shots his first game back. So he's eating into my man George. He's eating into my man Bub Carrington's usage. Until they figure that out, those guys could get knocked down a level. So there you go. Castle could be 3. I mean, and even at the same time, if Knecht keeps starting, he could. I mean, he's definitely going to be cracking a top 10.
Yeah, because he didn't make your top 10, and then right after release the episode,
he got
loose. Goes bananas, and now people in the comments like, "How does this not have Dalton Knecht?"
Hey man, we didn't. It was just thing called time, man.
Right. And what's crazy is we even re-recorded that episode.
Right.
Donovan Clingan had like the 17 and 12 after the original one.
Yeah, I had to put him in the top 10.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to Alex Sarr, the number 2 pick. He had an up and down performance as far as his weekend, but one game he had 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 stocks.
Yes. 4 steals, 3 blocks. The talent is there. You know, he had, I don't know if it was an accident, but he had a turnaround jumper on Clint Capella. And, you know, some of that 20 points was powered by him hitting 3 threes, which is, I believe, a career high for him. But, you know, it's crazy. Sarr, if you just close your eyes to the nasty field goal percentage and nastier 3-point percentage, he's averaging 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks a game. You'll absolutely take that from your number 2 pick, your rookie who has really no offensive identity. I want to know how many lobs has he caught. I can't recall seeing him catch a lob. No. But
I think some of that could be point guard play also.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you know, you want to go play with Trae Young, the lobs is there, but that's, you know, hey, man, those are choices you make. But I'm just saying, you take away the field goal percentage, he's still been very productive, and he has, I almost want to say, no clue who he is on offense. I think he has a ton of talent, and he's definitely showing it.
And right when you felt like he was turning the corner, because he had a 12-point game, didn't get to the foul line, and he had a 12-point game against the Spurs, but he missed all 5 of his threes. But you'll take 6 of 14 from the floor, and if you take away the threes, he was efficient. Then he was 3 of 4 from 3 against the Hawks. But then against the Pistons, right when I'm like, all right, Sarr is turning the corner, 1 for 7 game with only 4 points, 3 rebounds. He had 3 assists and a block, but would love a little bit more consistency. But, of course, he's a rookie. He's young. I just think he needs to have an offensive identity. Without that, then you need to have that table setter or playmaker that knows how to set you up. But like you said, he could have had that if he – I mean, some people think that Atlanta was going to take Risa Shea all along, but he didn't even want to be part of the conversation. He chose to go to the Wizards.
They booed him.
Yeah, and the Hawks fans aren't known for
cheering for the other team.
But I will say this from a minutes perspective, he's getting more minutes in Washington, and definitely more minutes in Washington than he would have got in Atlanta if they weren't able to move Capella or Okongwu. All right, let's switch it up to Reed Sheppard. You know,
welcome to the NBA, Reed Sheppard.
If you've been listening, we've been saying we were going to say free Reed Sheppard until Reed Sheppard is free, but the Rockets are winning, so I don't know if there's any justification.
He's not free either.
He's not free, but the Rockets are winning. So when they're winning, it's just kind of hard, a little bit difficult to question Udoka's lineups, because Houston is 10-4, and they've won 5 in a row.
Man, Tari Eason should be 6th man of the year.
He should be starting. He shouldn't even be 6th man of the year. He should be starting. I mean, but the rotation, I mean, they're winning, so it's hard to again question what's going on. But I have said it. You can go back to 2 years ago. I have said that in a fair and open training camp, Eason would have started over Jabari Smith. And I still believe that to this day. But we'll see. Anyway, but Reed Sheppard got in. Now we kind of have to put, context to the game that he got in and played a lot of minutes. And it's because they won 143 to 107.
Look, I clicked on, Synergy to watch the game because I didn't get to watch it live. Man, I looked in that lower right-hand corner. It said 105 to 75. And I was like, did I skip through some plays? Reed took his first shot there of 30, man.
But
those was all mop-up minutes. No, listen, there's no such thing as bad minutes for rookies. We've established that. But they were up 30.
Hey, man, when they're up 30, you have to perform, because if you're up 30 and you go 1 for 4 or 2 for 7, then it's going to be hard for the coach to look down the bench and trust you in a closer game. But he made the most of his minutes. 4-7 from the floor, 4-5 from 3, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist in 19 minutes. All we can ask for is an opportunity, and he made the most of it, even though they were up by 30.
Hey, he's been hesitant, it looks like. But I tell you what, up 30, he was letting the ball go. So maybe this is what he needs to, be more confident when he plays. Because, you swinging the ball to guys there was a play a couple games ago, I think I talked about it. He's wide open. You're 40-something% shooter. And he swung the ball to Tari Eason. Shout out to Tari Eason. Eason made it, but there was a dude closing out in his face. I'm like, man, you got to shoot that ball. So yeah, maybe this is what Reed needs to do, see the ball go in a few times. But yeah, if they're going to win games, man, this might still be the free Reed Sheppard campaign for a while.
If they end up going Holiday in the rotation and he's not playing, do they decide to send him down to Rio Grande in the G League as the number 3 pick? That'd be something to monitor. Real quick, in that game, and we talked about it, the score was 143-107. It was a blowout, but Matas Buzelis only got 16 minutes of action. Now, he did make 2 of 3 from 3, but he was 2 of 6 overall, finished with 8 points. Now, I saw that he's been going back and forth between the G League and the senior team, like it's JV and varsity. But you would hope to get more than 16 minutes when your team is getting smacked by a dub plus with time on the clock. It wasn't like it stretched to 20 in the last few minutes of the game.
It was 30 early in the third quarter.
Yep. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Once again, thank you for making this your first listen of the day. This is Rookie Watch Volume 9. And before we go, I want to let you know about the Locked On newsletter. Your favorite team has a newsletter that will be delivered to your inbox every day. Check it out at lockedondaily.com. It is free, so check out the all-new and free Locked On newsletter at lockedondaily.com. Once again, it's Rafael and James Barlowe. Again, Rookie Watch Volume 9. Stay with us because we're going to bring these to you a lot. We might get up to like Rookie Watch 100.
As long as you keep counting, because apparently I can't count.
Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely have it at the bottom of the screen where we can keep updated. But once again, it's Rafael and James, and we are out of here.